no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions, new victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
He sits down with me and he says, I think you'll be able to share what you've learned if you leave. You'll be able to share this with everyone if you leave. And I felt like it was his nice way of saying, you're not ready to be a monk, like get out of it. Right? That's how it felt. It felt like I'd failed, and it felt like he was like breaking up with me. Like I equate it to a divorce. It was almost like him saying to me, it's not you, it's me, you know, it's not working out. Like it kind of felt like that. It wasn't disingenuous on his part. It was a reality check. It was a reality check that this wasn't going to last forever. It was one of the most toughest, humiliating, ego-bashing, crushing things that happened. Because here I was thinking I'm going to be a monk and I'm going to do this and I've got all these plans. And then all of a sudden, 3 years on, all your plans have failed. I've got no money, I've rejected all my corporate job offers, and I moved back in my parents 5 years ago with $25,000 worth of debt. So I moved back in my parents. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do? Like now I'm going to have to think about paying bills, and I'm going to have to think about, my parents aren't well off, so I didn't have anywhere to I had their home to hang out in, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'll just live with my parents for a bit, I'll figure it out. I was just like, I literally have nothing. Like if I don't figure this out, I'll be sleeping in my bedroom that I grew up in for the rest of my life, and that's it. Like that's life.
Sure.
So it was tough. It was the closest I've ever been to like a very low point, because your biggest dreams have just crushed. And I know no one can really understand my dream of becoming a monk, but you can equate it to, I don't know, playing in sports. Like I know for you it was like that, but whatever it is, music, it was like your biggest dream on the planet just comes crumbling down. And I felt it hurt, it really hurt. And it hurt the ego, because all my friends or family who I just about convinced that I was becoming a monk, when I was coming back, they were all like, well, I thought you were gonna be a monk, what are you doing? I had that moment where I had to decide. I was like, wait a minute, I've been taught how to deal with anxiety, pain, pressure, and everything as a monk. And for the first time in my life, I had to put it into like practice, but in like acceleration mode. So I ended up doing two things when I left. One thing was all my friends who work now at big companies, they were stressed out and hating their lives. And so they started to invite me to speak at their companies like Google and Starbucks, and they worked.
Tell us what you learned from being a monk.
Yeah, that's it. They were all working at these big brands and they were like, Jay, come teach us what you've learned. So I started speaking at all these venues and I loved it. And people were getting so much out of it. And I was like, wow, like my monk experience is really there to help so many people. And because I'm still living it, I can still give it. And all of a sudden, all of this environment had a meaning and purpose again. And I started to see what my teacher had said, that you're there to share this with people.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason returns to KBLA Talk 1580. You already know what it is. I'm not going to let you off the hook. Relationships are toxic. People are toxic. Families are toxic. Attachment styles that are unhealed makes us toxic. So we got to attack the elephant in the room tonight. Ego. Is your ego ruining your relationship? Do you think it's all about you? Your happiness? Do you think it's just about you? Tonight's topic, ego versus relationship satisfaction. Unmasking the culprit. Have you ever experienced ego-free love? Is the shadow of your ego overshadowing the potential of your relationship? We're going to shed light on this not-so-hidden obstacle tonight. 1-800-920-1580. I'm making a special plea to all the beautiful women who listen to the show, all the beautiful ladies who listen to the show that are from Los Angeles, California. I want to hear your voice tonight. Los Angeles needs to stand up. This is your show first, because I'm here with you. Many of you see me at the Cigar Lounge. Many of you see me, right, at, KBLA events out at Lamert Park, and I come show up and take pictures with folk. I'm calling out the sisters and the brothers of Los Angeles. Show up and show out tonight. Tonight's topic, ego tripping. I don't want to feed your ego any longer. Ooh, Lord, 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 Lord. Do you withhold praising your significant other as a means of keeping their ego in check? Is this really your problem? How do you not show ego in relationship? Does the relationship actually transform our personal egos? Should it transform our personal egos? Can you maintain a sense of self while at the same time being selfless to your relationship? 1-800-920-1580. True or false? The ego thinks that the best way to love someone is to change them. The effort to love through the filter of ego becomes the need for control. Do you agree or disagree with that statement? How do you give up your ego in a relationship, and should you? Can ego ultimately, unchecked ego, can it ultimately ruin a relationship? Let me say it again. Let me say it one more time. Can an unchecked ego ruin your intimate relationship? How does the concept of ego apply to intimate relationships? Can you define what ego means in context of romantic relationships? I want to know. Is it possible for both partners to have unchecked egos simultaneously? If so, how does this adversely affect the relationship? How can empathy and compassion help counterbalance the effects of an unchecked ego in your relationship? I want to know what you think. So many people in intimate relationships think it's about them 24/7. Can I just be honest? It's not about you, right? It's about us. See, relationship is a highly reflective classroom where the biofeedback you get from your partner is your personal curriculum. And if we're sane in a relationship, we're looking for that feedback. We're looking for that curriculum so we can change and adjust who we are, so we can be more present in the intimate relationship, not only for our partner, but also for ourselves. Many people are not present when it comes to the wounds that are hidden in their spirit. So by not being present, we aggrandize the mask we wear. And in doing so, right, we fill it up with bluster. This is who I am. This is the ideal self. A lot of people are not really tapped into the truth of who they are. So they create this egoic mask that has to have a security team to protect it from nicks and scratches and cracks. And you spend all your time trying to maintain this false Halloween mask. We're coming into Halloween now. And that is more important than being present as your true self. I keep telling y'all, relationships are more about giving than they are about receiving. Does your ego prevent you from giving? Because your ego is always like a relationship accountant, right? If I give, are you going to give something equal? The ego is always envious. The ego is always territorial. The ego is always even trying to put down the person they're in relationship with. Is your ego unchecked? When was the last time you checked your ego like you should? Do you even know how to check your ego? Do you even think you have to? Can an unchecked ego be a barrier to personal growth and development within your relationship? Again, relationships are more spiritual than they are social, but you live in a capitalistic society, so that prevents you from seeing the value of the spiritual nature of relationship, which can lead to self-realization. What's more important, getting what you want or growing up spiritually? 1-800-920-1580. I need to know, how can individuals maintain a sense of self-worth without resorting to ego-driven behaviors? What are some long-term effects of the unchecked ego on the overall health of not only yourself, but the relationship? Do you even care? Is protecting your ego more important than protecting the heart of the person you love? Your pride. Oh, Lord, I know y'all not ready for tonight's show. Can you share with me tonight on the air? 1-800-920-1580. Can you share a personal experience where ego played a significant role in a relationship challenge? That's the question for you tonight. Los Angeles, I need to hear from you. I know I'm going to hear from my brothers and sisters from all over the country. This is a non-judgmental national discussion about how ego can really destroy your relationship. Let me say it again. Can an unchecked ego become a barrier to personal growth within a relationship? What are some long-term effects that an unchecked ego can have on the health of a relationship? How do cultural and societal influences, that's ugly, right? Oh, God. How do cultural and societal influences or societal factors influence the expression of ego within relationship? Can you share that personal experience with me tonight? How it affected your relationship, your ego? What role does vulnerability play in countering the negative effects of ego? Are there specific triggers or situations that tend to amplify ego-driven behaviors within relationships? Can introspection and self-reflection help individuals recognize and manage their egos while interfacing intimately with someone they claim they love. Yeesh. Is there a connection between unresolved past traumas and the development of ego-related issues in relationships? I'm not playing tonight. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. The phone lines are open. Call me right now, 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, the voice of reason endeavors to delve deeper.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're a veteran with a service-connected disability that is directly impacting your ability to work, resources are available to help you find employment. VA's Veteran Readiness and Employment, or VR&E, can assist you with finding a job that uses your existing skills. Or, if you're interested in exploring a new field, a VR&E counselor can help you determine the right education or training options for a new career. Find out if VR&E is right for you by visiting va.gov/VRE today.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference. Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You know he's down with us. D Square, he's down with us. Keyboard Money Mike is down with us. ICU, you know he's down with us. D Nice and Mick Buddha down with us. Miss Melody, she's down with us. Just Ice and DMX, they're down with us. My manager Mo, he's down with us. Castle D, boy, he's down with us. DJ Red Alert, he's down with us. RoboCop, boy, he's down with us. Making funky music is a must. I'm number one. People still taking rapping for a joke, a passing hope or a phase with a rope. Sometimes I choke and try to believe when I get challenged by a million MCs. I try to tell them we're all in this together. My album was raw because no no one would ever think like I think and do what I do. I stole the show and then I leave without a clue. What do you think makes up a KRS? Concisive teaching or very clear speaking? Ridiculous bass, aggravating treble, rebel, renegade, must stay paid. Not by financial aid, but a rate of hits, causing me to take long trips. I'm the original teacher of this type of style, rocking off beat with a smile or a smirk or a chuckle. Yes, some are not up to BDP posse, so I love to.
We are talking all about pride. Pride in a good way, but pride also in a bad way, specifically related to relationships. Now, pride is a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. When we're talking about pride, you have pride in your country, pride in your relationship, pride in yourself, pride in your children,
Your
pride in
faith.
your family, your faith.
Work.
Pride is a good thing in most cases. Now, where it gets a little dicey, where it gets a little tricky, definitely within relationships, is pride that's connected to your ego.
Ooh.
I'm going to say that again. Pride that's connected to your ego is usually that pride that can get in the way and really put a damper on relationships and can ruin relationships.
Yeah.
It can really be a killer. Sometimes it could be refusing to apologize.
Oh yeah, that is a big one. I think that is one of the major identifiers of your ego getting in the way. Another example can be if you're unable to see your partner's perspective because you're so kind of like wrapped up in your own way.
Right.
That can be your ego. If you know that there are some changes that you need to make, but you're unable to hear that or accept that from your partner or hear it from your partner.
Yeah, you're like, it's like you're not able to accept help
Yeah.
or hear criticism.
Or hear criticism.
And I think that really can be, I mean, that's all connected to pride,
Yeah.
to be honest, because if you're not able to take criticism, whether it's in a relationship or just with anybody,
Yeah.
that is something internally that is connected to pride. So just that alone can really damage a relationship, can even kill a relationship.
Ladies and gentlemen, according to etymologyonline.com, the word ego, noun, by 1707, in metaphysics, it means the self, right? That which feels, acts, or thinks. But ego comes from a Latin word. You know what the Latin word is? It's one of our alphabets. I. Yes, I. That's what ego, me, I. This is about me. I live in a transactional society. I can't sign up for nothing that isn't worth what I want. And if I don't get it, the relationship is an abject failure. Y'all hear that? The word ego comes from the Latin I. Yes. Yes. This is real heavy stuff tonight. Is your ego in the way of happiness? Is your ego in the way of relational happiness? Is it your way or the highway? Does it have to be your way all the time? Unchecked egos within intimate relationships. Ego tripping. Intimate relationships are very intricate and they're rhythmic. So an intimate relationship is a dance of ebb and flows. It's kind of like a salsa of emotions, vulnerabilities, and unfortunately, ego is in there too. Often, ego is the silent saboteur, lurking in the shadows, ready to pounce when conflict arises. It's crucial to recognize its presence and master its influence if you want a flourishing connection. The first question to consider is whether withholding praise as a means of keeping a partner's ego in check. Listen, in truth, it might hint at one's own insecurity. When we fear feeding our significant other's ego, we may be unconsciously reflecting our own apprehensions about their growth or success. We might be reflecting our own stuff on them, putting it on them, projecting it onto them. Instead, fostering a relationship where both partners support each other's achievements can dispel such concerns. In a successful relationship, ego takes a back seat, even when your partner has hurt you or failed you. Because your ego, if you put it in control after there's been an infraction, and there will be, because you're dating a whip, a work in progress, your ego will not let it go. Your ego will have justification to say everything they've been wanting to say. 1-800-920-1580. Tell me I'm lying. Somebody call in and tell me. Somebody call in and tell me I'm lying. In successful relationships, ego takes a back seat. One does not need to showcase superiority or control. Instead, it's about collaboration, empathy, humility, showing vulnerability, admitting faults, and actively listening are all ways to humble the ego. Many people don't want to humble their ego. They want to embolden their ego. Can we tell the truth tonight? It's not about winning an argument or asserting dominance, but it's about finding common ground and fostering mutual understanding, mutual respect, mutual consideration. The ego tricks us into believing that changing our partner is an act of love. If you would just do this, if you could shift this, if you could change this, you'd be better. As if they're better than you. They're already there, I guess. Okay, cool. However, true love is about acceptance and growth, not control. The ego-driven need for control can poison a relationship. Instead, the path to love lies in respecting each other's individuality, allowing them to evolve naturally, and supporting their personal development. Do you really want that for your partner? Are you an advocate for their well-being? Or does your ego say they can't be better than me? Not if you rely on me, you can't be better than me. Not if I'm paying more of the bills than you, you can't be better than me. You might be spiritual, you might be self-aware, but you broke. That's your ego talking. How many relationships has your ego destroyed? When I come forward, Zoe Williams hasn't even begun to get deep.
20 years old, 50 years down the line, you can start this. Cause we'll be the old school artists. And even in that time, I'll say a rhyme, a brand new style, ruthless and wild. Running around, spending money, having fun. Cause even then, I'm still number one.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The husband of a Bronx daycare owner, where a 1-year-old boy died due to fentanyl exposure, has been arrested in Mexico. ABC News reports he was arrested by the DEA while on a bus in Sinaloa more than a week after Nicholas Dominici died and 3 other children were hospitalized in New York. Meanwhile, the Senate has voted to advance a short-term funding bill to avoid a government shutdown. The bipartisan measure would keep money flowing until mid-November to give Congress more time for a long-term package. However, the measure has to pass the House. A deal to fund the government must be passed by the end of the week. And the U.S. Supreme Court is rejecting an Alabama congressional map that features just one majority black district. It's the second time in 3 months Alabama Republicans have been handed a defeat. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles lets you choose from your fave 4, including a sausage or egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, or medium hot coffee. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
Boldly taking talk radio where it has never gone before. New vistas, new voices, new views, new visions. New victories. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're taking public media black.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. On low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Is your eyesight changing?
I can't read this anymore.
Don't lose hope. People just like you are working every day using Braille, screen magnification, speech technology, and other tools and blindness skills. Your eyesight may have changed, but your goals, they don't have to. We can help. Visit us on the web at blind.org. The National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation.
In August 2020, after the death of George Floyd, Bridget Floyd and other family members established the George Floyd Memorial Foundation in support of the Black community.
It's going to take more than just us as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to make a change.
Fight for racial justice for the Black community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically Black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid, and we don't back down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Just had a fight with my woman over something trivial told. We rarely have confrontation, and if the I said really was bold, I think she get it from my mama. Her bitterness passed down from old. When I'm calling out her drama, she too defensive to listen, I'll call so. Looking at, I got problems. You got the type of advice that I need. I couldn't get through on the mention Siri. Dana was hogging up the time that I need. Between working or being so clingy. Plus the time zone difference don't make it more easy. Oh, so I figured I'd call in early. Turn my life down, mercy, I got through. You tuned in. Yeah, yeah. So just lay back your mind. Something new. Everybody tuning in to soul. Cause he is the voice of reason, yeah.
Do you feel confident in yourself? Do you know what you're good at and what you're bad at? Even psychology experts know the benefits that come with being confident in yourself and your skills. The identity that your mind creates about yourself can be described in psychology as your ego, which is the translation for I or me in Latin. Though having confidence in yourself and your skill set is great, but being overconfident causes a swollen ego, or having what's called a big head. A large ego can get in the way of your personal and business relationships. Are you worried you might have a large ego? Here are 6 signs that your ego is controlling your life. Number 1, you always have to be right. The ego is the identity that your mind creates about yourself, and it helps you to make decisions based on what you think is right or wrong. However, unhealthy egos only focus on self-interest and desire. This means you must be right about everything and tend to get enraged whenever someone says otherwise. This can be easily seen in conversations or discussions, and even when you're in the wrong, you prefer to cut the discussion off so as to not admit that you are in the wrong. If you're dealing with this kind of problem of ego in your life, then people might find it difficult to maintain a relationship with you. Number 2, you always want more. Do you struggle to feel satisfied with what you have? Do you keep wanting more and more things? It's normal to want to achieve success and have financial security, and to yearn for the things that you really want. But a way to separate this from always wanting more is to ask yourself this question. Do you ever think that too much is never enough? Say your neighbor just got a sports car, and then now you feel compelled to purchase a better sports car than theirs to show that you're better than them. Always wanting more will control your life in an unsustainable way because you struggle to accept what's going on in the here and now. Number 3, you only focus on yourself. If you have a large ego, you'll focus more on your needs and wants, even when it inconveniences others. This is because you naturally find yourself more interesting and important than other people. You might also resort to manipulative behavior in order to get what you want. A common example of this is when you're deciding on where to have lunch with your friends. Your friends agree to eat at McDonald's, but you would rather have lunch at Burger King. To get your friends on your side, you start saying terrible things about McDonald's to try and manipulate them into going to Burger King, even though everyone else was against your choice for lunch. Eventually, you might find that your friends and family start to steer clear of you because things always end in an argument that they'd rather avoid. Number 4, you don't like it when other people succeed. Are you constantly comparing yourself to others? Do you feel incredibly self-important? When you have a bloated ego, you feel like you deserve more success than the others around you because you think your hard work trumps everybody else's. You might be left feeling frustrated when others get promoted at work or get awards at school. You feel that you deserved that promotion or should have received those awards instead because you are prone to jealousy over other people's success. This can harm your friendships and leave you feeling isolated.
Do you see? Ego is the pathway to the dark side. Yes, the pathway to envy, the pathway to jealousy. Ego is going to connect. And I'm saying an unchecked ego. Please understand, there are good aspects to the ego too. A sense of self. A healthy sense of self is a good aspect of the ego. But we're talking about the unchecked ego and its effect on intimate relationships. We got Sean from Oakland, California. Get in here.
Brother, what a great subject to talk about. When we're talking about ego, let me tell you something from being an old-ass guy who's been married a long time. It took me a long time to learn this, but this is true. Because, yes, I have an ego. I was trying to play, become a Major League Baseball player. It didn't work out. You have to have an ego to get to any kind of athletic success. But when I got married and all that, I learned something very important, which is this. I have kind of an engineering mind, and I think a lot of athletes have this. And the thing that I want to say here is, you're in a relationship, whether you're married or not, but you're in a serious relationship, and that the other person, not you, is asking you to do something. As your mind with that ego and your engineering mind, or at least in my case, I have everything figured out. So I want to do it in my order. When it comes to a relationship and your better half says, do something that I want you to do it. Do it now. I mean, do it. Because that is how you check your ego. It's like, I don't have to do it in my exact order. I can respect, oh my goodness, I love my better half. And she's asked me to do this, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is she's asking. Do it. Do it. Because it isn't going to be any hair off your rear end. It's going to be like something your mother told you or something that you didn't want to do in the first place. But you have your own agenda. You have your own process. But I guarantee you, people out there, young folks, do it, because they will love you for it.
Man, thank you, Sean. We appreciate you always showing up when called. Did we call you, Sean, or you just called in? We love you, though, brother. Thank you for bringing Oakland in the building. Brings up a great point. Relationships thrive on collaboration, and I'm talking about healthy relationships. They thrive on collaboration. In order to collaborate, you must humble yourself, which is the opposite side of the coin of ego. Humility. Humility is not synonymous with humiliation. If you want the relationship to work, there must be collaboration. And to have effective, positive, honest, truthful collaboration, there must be humility. The great Krishnamurti put it this way. Isn't the origin of conflict ego? If there is no ego, there is no becoming. Right? Ego has a thirst associated with it. The ego is more. I need to do more. I need to accomplish more. I'm not satisfied. Ego has an insatiable appetite. And we're talking about the unchecked ego. Is there a meditation that is not the ego trying to become something? Is meditation conscious if every effort implies time? What he's saying is, I'll do this for a little while, and I'll keep doing this because I want to be able to achieve this. There is no achievement in meditation. There is no end goal. There is no championship where you raise the trophy. Do you understand? I need people to see this tonight. Ego has contaminated so many relationships, and then you look around and wonder, why? Why am I not in a good relationship? Right? Why am I not in a fulfilled relationship? I have everything, but I don't have love. Well, it's because you've raised ego to a position of authority in your life. And I know people don't want to hear it that way, but that's what it is. Krishnamurti said it another way. It's very powerful. He said, the ego is a ring of defense around nothing. You've heard other people call it edging God out. Rodney Perry was just here a couple weeks ago or a week ago, and that's what he said. Edging God out. Ego. So many people edge God out of their relationships because it's all about what they can get, not what they can give. Shouldn't we want to give to our partner more than we want to receive from them? I think a lot of people struggle with that. This is why Krishnamurti also said, one is never afraid of the unknown. One is afraid of the known coming to an end. Then he goes even deeper. He asks, can the self end? Remember, ego, Latin for I, the self, me, my. So many people are so invested in them coming out on top. You get in a relationship merely to come out on top. Unchecked egos are running rampant. When I come forward, oh Lord, when I come forward, we've got more to talk about.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
If you're a veteran with a service-connected disability that is directly impacting your ability to work, resources are available to help you find employment. VA's Veteran Readiness and Employment, or VR&E, can assist you with finding a job that uses your existing skills. Or, if you're interested in exploring a new field, a VR&E counselor can help you determine the right education or training options for a new career. Find out if VR&E is right for you by visiting va.gov/VRE today.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
Joey from Vermont, a farmer trying to get through the winter. Adriana from South Carolina, a single mother living paycheck to paycheck. Liam from Ohio, an injured father struggling to provide for his family. Hi, I'm Shanola Hampton, and I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
That I intend to stop living. I won't pretend I'm good at forgiving, but I can't hate you.
Hello and welcome to the Awesome 180 channel. I'm Ashton Doctor, your habit coach. And today we're going to be talking about the ego, the sense of self. You know, we're so used to hearing this phrase saying, that guy has a very big ego, or that person, he only cares about themselves. And very often we find ourselves in relationships with people who have these huge egos. So firstly, let's figure out what to do if we are the person with the big ego. And the second thing to do is let's figure out if we are the person in a relationship with someone with that ego. So the first thing I want you to understand is that what an ego is. An ego is a sense of self. That means I have a sense of self. That means that where does the world around me exist up to? For somebody with an ego, their world exists up to the end of their nose, right? It's wherever they end, their ego ends, or the sense of world ends. So anybody in a relationship with them always will feel like an outsider because they're never welcomed, they're never part of their companion's sense of self. So that's the first big issue with the ego. The second thing with the person with a big ego is that they cannot see something from another person's perspective. Whenever you're in a relationship, you always want to feel like you're together with someone. You want your points to be heard. You want your perspective to be at least taken into consideration, if not always agreed upon. A person with a big ego cannot even see things or even predict things from another person's point of view. So this is where a large part of disagreements in relationships, especially when you're with somebody with an ego, comes in. The next funny thing with somebody who has an ego is that they're already in a relationship. So technically, you are the third person. You're the other woman or the other guy. See, a person who has a very big ego is already in a relationship with themselves. It is them and them that is together in this relationship. You are always going to be an outsider. Unless this person starts to learn to change this behavior, their relationships are going to suffer dramatically.
You in a third-party relationship. The person is in a relationship with themselves and their ego, and then you are the side person? Wow, 1-800-920-1580. That was heavy. Let's get Attila from Houston, Texas on the line. We know she's got something intriguing to say.
What's going on, Uncle Bill?
Hey,
how are you?
Attila, I'm good. How are you?
Tired. Tired. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I said, let me call my uncle, see what's going on.
Yes. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Well, I played both sides. Definitely had a big ego, I think, when it came to my sibling relationships, because I'm the oldest of three. So, you gotta have all the answers, right? And then on top of that, I think I was very parentified as a child. So in terms of how that affected my relationship, like namely with my sister, we couldn't really have conversations about just, regular stuff, because I think I was always kind of lording over her as the older sister who knows what she's talking about. And I remember my best friend was just like, one day you just need to sit there and just listen. Like, don't say anything. Just listen to what she has to say. And it came as such a pivotal moment for me because it just wasn't like one of my proudest moments, I think, as the oldest in the family, but it needed to happen. So it definitely let me see things from her perspective a lot better. But I would say if you're having a conversation with your significant other and y'all are in an argument and you can't just pause and essentially let them explain, then that also is a huge indicator of where you're at.
And Attila, what is your relationship with your ego? Is it unchecked? Is it? Do you have it under control pretty much? Like, talk to me.
I feel like I have it under control a lot more now than I used to. For the longest time, I think I was just like quiet, like, just kind of not saying anything. And then I kind of went straight to the other end and just not letting anybody talk, right? So I'm getting there. It's a work in progress. For me, like, my ego comes out if it's about something that I'm passionate about. If we're talking about something that is, like, important to me, then yeah, it might get a little heated. I'm not gonna lie.
How does your ego show up in relationships? Are you jealous? Do you get jealous? Talk to me. In relationship, do you have to talk to your ego like it's a bad little kid in the grocery store? Now, don't touch nothing when we walk in. I want to know, like, how do you deal with your ego when you're in a relationship? Talk to me.
Yes, no. So to answer your first question, yes, I have definitely gotten jealous. It wasn't necessarily unwarranted. However, I think the way that I handled the situation could have been a lot better. And later on, when the subject came up again, I had to be like, all right, bite your tongue. Bite it now. Bite it now. Don't say it was directly on your mind. And that's the thing. When you're speaking without awareness, you're speaking from ego.
When you're speaking without awareness, you're speaking from ego. Are you saying when you're speaking without self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
Oh, talk to me about that. That's heavy.
Wait. Awareness of self.
No, wait. Hold that thought. When we come forward, I really want you to drill down on that. So don't forget your thought, because I will. When we come forward, the voice of reason shall continue this riveting discussion with Attila.
Be like, wait for the sun to